So this information line over here. Now, before I talk about that, just some settings of this top part of your workspace. If you go to the big kind of settings cog over there, that gives you a lot of tool or buttons that are hidden or available, so I can add them. Not that. This other one here, this is your window layout. So this shows you what is actually showing up in this workspace. Now the left zone, right zone, and lower zone, that is exactly the same as these three buttons. So you don't have to do that in the menu. However, your status line, info line, and overview are tick boxes that you can switch on and off here. Now, if you just read those three names, they might sound very similar, so I want to explain what they are. So let's switch them all on for now. The status line gives you details from your project setup menu. You can see how much time I can still record on this drive, the format, the frame rate, stuff like that. So if you've set that correctly, you don't really need to see that all the time. So let's take away the status line. The overview, that doesn't look like much because that's that thing over there. Now, if you've got a very busy project, you'll see a tiny little clips everywhere over here, and you can quickly use that to navigate to various parts of your project. You can draw on there to zoom in and out. For a project like this with only one clip, there's nothing much to see, but it can be quite a useful navigation tool for larger projects. I'm going to switch that overview off as well. The info line, that I usually do have on, because it gives me interesting things. So it gives me a file name and it gives me metadata. If I want to rename stuff, now this is not going to rename the file, but it is going to rename the label here. If I'm going to say this is Joshua's voice, now you'll see the file name is still there, but it gives me my label for that. So very useful if you want to label things directly from there. It gives you the start, end, length, stuff like that. So if I have a little piece of music and the composer told me, hey, this music needs to start at 12 seconds and 3 frames, I can type in there 12 seconds and 3. Oh, that's 36. That's not right. 12 seconds and 3 frames. Then it jumps and starts there automatically. Quite useful. Shows you where it ends. You can also set that. You'll see that number changes when I drag here, and also gives you the length of stuff. If you need to know how long something is, just select a clip and it shows you the length it has. It shows me how much gain I've applied to it on the clip gain level over here. I can phase shift it. Now, transpose and fine tune, those are very useful things. I use that a lot in sound effects editing, but also sometimes for music. Now, you can pitch shift something with a plugin in an entire track, but you can, on the clip level in Cubase, shift the pitch as well. So the transpose one, that works in semitones. So the number I add in here, plus or minus, will shift it up and down that number of semitones. Now, the fine tune, that is in cents, the tuning term. So that is a subdivision of a semitone, and that's a tiny bit of tuning. So let's cut out this part and hear what it sounds like at the moment. It is now recording the same boom microphone that you're busy hearing. Now, if I transpose that, let's do something a bit more dramatic and take it up. I'm clicking and dragging. You can also type stuff in 5 semitones. So now it sounds like...
It is now recording the same boom.
Simple pitch shift, no advanced formant controls or anything, but half a semitone down. It is now recording the same boom microphone that you're busy hearing. Very simple to pitch shift something. Now, please don't just randomly pitch shift stuff because you want a voice to sound different. But if you have footsteps or a door slam and you want to generate an alternative version of that, you can time stretch it and then pitch shift it slightly, and you have an automatically created different version. And it's very quick to do that here. I also use my transpose sometimes for music. If I have a theme song playing on the credits and I've got my first underscoring cue coming in right after that, and if the key signatures kind of clash, I might transpose the entire underscoring part to something that relates better or is even in the same key. Now, you can't shift that far because it starts sounding very strange, but if you're shifting a couple of semitones, the result is actually quite good and a very easy way to match stuff like that. Similar to fine tune, have a listen to it is now recording this. It is now recording. It is now you can see it is now recording that. We have quite a big range here in sense that's only that kind of micro tonality, and you can also command click to reset that back to 0. Next up, we are going to look at buttons and tools and shortcuts.